Hey everyone, it's getting cold outside and it's putting you in a mood to do some winter artwork. And I decided on this cute little snowman today. And get your canvas out, get your paints ready because we're going to have some fun. Hey everyone, long time no paint. And I'm in the mood. So, today we're going to paint a snowman. And I sketched a little picture out on a piece of paper. And now we're going to see if we can make it look cool painting it. So we're going to start off with some chalk. And we're going to draw in our snowman. And our snowman is going to be halfway off our canvas. Something like that. And we're going to give him a crooked, pointy carrot nose. Make sure, don't put it on the edge of the circle, have it come in a little bit and it'll be kind of rounded. That is our basic shape that we're going to start off with. Okay, and you can adjust the shapes as you paint. But because we're going to use a darker background, I wanted to mark off the areas that I kind of want to stay white. So get your handy dandy brush ready, and some of my paints are a little old here. They're looking a little funky. I'm going to use a number 8 bright Simply Simmons and paint in my background. I'm using ultramarine blue. You use whatever color you would like. You can do it red, green, purple, whatever color suits your fancy. This is probably going to take a couple of layers to get that darkness that I would like to have. Also, while you're doing this, you can paint the edge of your canvas, which, by the way, I'm using a 10 by 10 canvas. This is the last of what I have left of what I was given for my birthday. See how it's kind of chunky? So my paint's getting old. I haven't been able to do much of it lately. Between school and work, it's been a little tough to pull out the canvas. But I've been needing it badly. I have quite the glare from the light. Hopefully you're not seeing that glare. Get this side. Just get it painted, just fill it in. No, I'm not talking much. I'm kind of concentrating. Not to mention, it has been said that some people here on YouTube don't like to listen to the rambling. I think when I watch other people's videos, I like to hear them talk. Helps the time pass. Okay, so when you get your background painted in, like I said, mine's going to need a second coat because I want it to look more of a solid. I don't necessarily care for the canvas poking through. That's just my preference. Some people like that painterly look. I am going to let this dry and give it a second coat. Now, you could pull out your hair dryer, blow dryer, heat tool, whatever you want to call it, and speed it along, or you can just let it dry naturally. I am going to just let that dry and then go back to a second coat. So while I'm waiting for that dry, I'm going to wipe off my brush, get most of that blue out of there, but I'm not going to rinse it. And I'm going to pick up some white, let it mix in. I just want to slightly tint my white. And fill in his body, or her body. Could be a girl. Could definitely be a girl. Even though all the cartoons, you know, Frosty is a boy. Because, you know, he's got his corncob pipe. I'm still using that same brush. Didn't rinse it. Just wiped off the excess paint, using that to give my white a little bit of a tint. This is for shadows. Like I said, I'm fighting a glare here, so I gotta like wiggle around and see where I'm at. Okay, his head too. Now if you're doing your background a different color than blue, you know, do the same thing. You know, just wipe off the excess paint out of your brush, and that color would be your shadow, because you know white is very reflective, and it'll make it look more like, how do you say it? It'll make it look more like your background is reflecting into the shadows and the highlights and what have you. I'm going to hit my edges. Look at that, I missed that little corner up here where the blue is. I kind of like to do the edges as I go, because that way if I make a mistake, I can go back and fix it. Okay. Ooh, hey, look at that. Paint on the fingers. See how it like glopped over on the edge there? Okay. Rinse. Oh no. I just try to wipe my brush off in the same part I wiped off that paint. Alright, so not quite dry yet. So let's do his nose, his carrot nose. First color I'm going to use is a dark red cadmium, because that's going to be my shadows. And I picked up a smaller brush, a little angle brush, a Simply Simmons. Oh, it doesn't say what. Oh, 1/4 inch. Only because this smaller brush, I feel like I have just a little bit more control. Of course, you have to dip back into the paint more. That's okay. I don't mind that. We need to let this dry and come back. So my blue is dry, and I'm going to do a second coat on my background. If it doesn't dry all the way, it's going to lift your paint off the canvas, and then you're going to get these, kind of looks like it's pitting. It'll just lift the paint right off, and you just never can seem to quite cover it back up. You know, and it could be because you know it's there, you can see it, maybe somebody else can't see it. Those kind of mistakes bug the heck out of me, so take your time. There's no rush. Or like I said, you can get out your hair dryer, heat tool, whatever, and use that to make sure that it's dry. If you just want to keep working. And sometimes I do that, but today I'm in no rush. I just want to relax. When I say relax, I mean relax. I'm still in my jammies. I haven't even gotten dressed yet today. I just woke up and said, I have some alone time, no one to interrupt me, no schoolwork to do, all caught up on my regular work, my buttons, and I'm going to play. So that is what I am doing. Clumpy paint. Time to get some new paints. Fortunately, I used most of it, so it's not going to be too wasteful. If you paint a lot, the big tubes are great, but if you really don't get that much time, smaller quantities, so that this doesn't happen to you. Okay. Here's bugging me. Okay, so we got the blue in. And I'm going to hit that little spot over here that I missed. You don't have to paint the edges, but if you paint the edges, you don't need a frame. And it just kind of looks right when it's hung up on the wall. Okay. Rinse out my brush. Keep plenty of paper towels handy. Okay, so come back into my white. And, you know, which way is your light coming from? In mine, I think my light is going to be coming from this direction. So this side of my snowman is going to have the highlights. Just drawing a line and then pulling it inward. Now I don't want to cover up all my blue shadows and stuff that I put in, so I'm just kind of like dry brushing in the in some white. Now, if you can see right here, you can see how the two giant balls connect to each other. Okay. Now, I'm going to get my little angle brush again, and I'm going to use Cad Orange. Now I was able to draw this, so let's see if I can get it to do it with the color. Black and white sketch, it turned out nice. So I'm going to try and make my carrot look like it's twisty. And you start at the top. You kind of do like an S. You would go at the top and then round, and then the top and round, but a little closer together than that, so that you don't have too much space in between. If that makes any sense. And it might take you a few coats. Because the red is so dark. It's a little hard to see. Close these gaps in a little. Once you do it, if you don't like it, you can paint over it. That is the beauty of acrylics. And if you make a mistake, let it dry. Don't try to keep fussing with it while it's wet, or you're just going to end up with a big mess. Okay, so I need to let that dry, then we'll come back to it because, let's see, I don't know if you can see it with the glare. It's almost there. And little spots like that where, I don't know if you can see where I kind of messed up. You can go back and touch that up. That's not a big deal. So get a little bit different brush here. All right. Now let's put some eyes on him. It's going to, I don't know, be about here. And, you know, it's a profile view, but you can really see just a little bit of his other eye. Okay, and his mouth, we're going to have one where you only see part of it. And all right, that brush isn't working for me. Get my smaller angle brush because like I said, I feel like I have more control with the smaller one. Okay. Need a fresh paper towel. Then I've got a little, like a little liner brush, so I can try and smooth out my edges there. See, we all struggle with our tools from time to time. And I think he needs one more. Just a little bit smaller up here. That's better. And then over here, we're going to put some buttons. And we only see like half of his buttons, so we get the half circle. And one more. Okay. Now, he gets a scarf. What color do you want to do his scarf? His scarf should probably match his hat. So, you get to choose what colors you want to use. I think I'm going to use a green. And I'm going to use phthalo green. I'm going to use phthalo green, but with a little bit white in it. So, to draw it this way. It in. Okay, and he's going to have a little bit where it comes up over the top there, because it's folded over, and it's going to come down off our canvas. from underneath. Because it's coming underneath. It's going to come off our canvas again. Okay. Now I added just a tiny, like pinprick, tiny black to the corner of my brush. I mean, like the very corner. I don't know if you can see that of the brush, just the teeniest little tiny bit of black. Because we gotta define the layers. To give it some dimension there. I gotta turn my canvas so I can see what I'm doing, sorry. Okay, and pull it outward. See how we kind of defined that? Let's do our edge here. Make it a little sharper. And this side, make it a little sharper. Just crisping up the edges, cleaning them up. Okay. Did not clean my brush. Picked up a little bit of white. Pulling a little bit through. Here's our highlight. Probably have some highlight top here. Right along this edge. And you could add some polka dots or some stripes or, you know, something like that if you want. I don't want to. It's my painting, so I don't have to. Just like it's your painting, so you don't have to. Get my little liner brush here. And I'm getting just some straight phthalo. And I'm going to if it's not flowing, your brush isn't wet enough. Come right along the edge there. trying to make those areas pop out, make it look like layers of clothing. I got a little bit of white. Okay. Woke up and it was a little chilly this morning. It's starting to get warm. Okay. So I think we need a little dry time. So I'm going to let it dry and then we're going to come back. All right, we're back, and we still need to work on his carrot nose, and we need to give him some kind of hat. Let's do the hat. He's going to be wearing a knit hat. So I'm just using my liner brush. Let me get not my liner brush. Use my little 1/4 inch angle to draw my line. It's going to come a little off his head and round it up. It's going to go into that blue. And we might have to put some white up here so that the green will cover that blue. So I didn't rinse my brush. I'm just going to throw some white in there so that our green will show up. Maybe let's come this way a little bit more. Okay. It's my green, my phthalo green with some white. Just filling it in. let that dry and come back to our carrot nose. Okay, and I'm going to use my liner brush. Try and brighten some of this orange. And when you're doing this, you know, brush direction does matter. You want it to look like something is going a certain, like if you want it to look like it's going that way, you're not going to paint up and down. You're going to give the brush strokes going that way. So I'm trying to give it that little kind of like S curl in my brush strokes. And I'm not like completely smoothing it out. The paint has like ridges, it has marks in it, gives it some texture. Okay, see that orange a little bit better. And my hat, I need to come over on my edges and pull the green into that. So, now while we're waiting for that to dry, let's work on some highlights. Remember, our light's coming from over here, and our buttons have buttonholes, so I'm going to put like a couple little commas. So that it looks like the light is picking up the excuse me, picking up the holes of the button. Now of course as that dries it won't pop out as much. And same thing on our little coal mouth. I want to kind of have some highlight here. Yeah, the light's shining on it a little bit. We're going to give him some eye twinkle, a little dot. And carrot's not dry enough yet. Let's pull some highlight down on the scarf. If you think you have too much, you can, blend it in with your finger. Nobody said that painting was clean and easy. Okay. Just streaking some in the scarf. My highlights were a little too thick down here. I'm going to thin them out. Touching it up with some black. Okay. Now, the other thing that we can work on is an arm. See if I can get these open. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of raw umber, and probably mix in some black and some white. Oh, it came off nice. Okay. Now we're not going to see his whole arm, but we're going to see part of it. And use my liner brush, I think. I want it to like come down. It's coming off the canvas, and then it's going to come back up like it bent at the elbow. Okay, so again, it's going to be kind of rounded. It's going to come down off the canvas. And then it's going to come back on the canvas. And you know, it's like a tree branch, so it gets thinner as you approach the end. Okay. So it comes all rounded. Get the edge of my canvas. Okay, that is a little bit of the raw umber. Grab a little burnt to mix in. Streaks. Okay. Comes Back on the canvas over here. You can't see his elbow. You just know that his arm is bent. Get a little raw to mix in. He's got some long fingers that come up here. Picked up a little white. I'm just mixing my browns, not rinsing my brush. Dab it into one, dab it into another. I'm gonna grab a little black, run it along the shadow side here. Did not rinse the brush. Glare is getting me. Gotta lift, sorry folks. A little white. A little white over here. That's the highlight side. Blending it in. Okay. The black on the shadow side. So now we have our carrot nose needs a little bit of highlight. And remember how it's got the little S curve there? I'm not putting in a solid line, it's just kind of, I just stuck my wrist in there. It's kind of a broken line. Trying to help it along with its twistiness. I did a boo-boo. trying to scrub that off. I lifted some blue, which I did not want to do. Now we'll get that pitting effect that I was talking about. This right here doesn't look quite right to me, so I'm going to angle that a little differently there. Put in some green first. Pull in some of that white. And it should come out a little bit past his belly. So that it looks like, you know, some dimension. Doesn't want to be, you don't want it flat on him because it's not. It's wrapped around him. Okay. Now, back up to his hat. It feels like it's dry. Okay. I'm getting my bigger brush to fill it in a little faster. My number 8 bright. And remember your brush stroke. Okay. Get my side. Alright. It needs, try to do this without sticking my hand in anything wet. Yeah, it needs some highlight right along the edge. And, little streaks. And of course it has, see, orange right in the carrot. It has some shadow underneath. Okay, so put that line in. I'm going to take a dry brush and try to pull it down a little. So we got some reflection in the white there. Okay. Adding in some highlights. Touching up the carrot nose some more. Straighten out my line on my hat. We got light streaks in there. We need some dark to go with those lights, because wherever there's a light, there's a dark. Okay, so the only thing left is some snow. Now you can splatter your snow. You can use a toothbrush to do it. You can use a wet brush and tap it, but it's messy. So do it outside. Cover up things that you don't want to get ruined. I'm just going to spread out some paper towel here. And try and do it. Okay. Let me see. looks. I'm just going to use a round, and I'm going to wet down my white, get it real fluid, very fluid. Okay, and then tapping it on my finger. Okay. And you know what? Even with putting that stuff down, do it outside. I have got paint all over my computer, all over my keyboard, all over my screen. Oh my goodness. And I tried to protect it. I should have closed it. Heck, I probably even got it all over me. I'm sure I do. So we have some of those in there. And I have paint everywhere. Do as I say, not as I do. Take it outside. Alright, so you could even add in a snowflake here and there if you wanted. It doesn't have to be fancy. Do a little line like that. Do them big and small here and there. Try not to get too fat of lines. Thin little lines. Lightly touch it. Maybe one down here. One more right here. Okay. What's left? You gotta sign your name. You gotta sign your name. And that's it. We are finished. Is he not cute? I like him. Just lifting a couple of snowflakes there that didn't too much care for, but that's okay. Ta-da! We're done. Pat yourself on the back. We're done. And remember, you can use whatever colors you want. It doesn't matter. It's your painting. You do it any way you would like. So that's my first winter Christmas Frosty, whatever you want to call him. My first painting in a long time. What feels like to me as forever. Alright, have fun, paint away. Thank you for sticking it out with me, and we'll see you next time.